Welcome to today's Explainer. Think about this for a second. Over $14 trillion worth of goods move across the planet every single year. 14 trillion! When you look at it that way, you quickly realize global trade isn't just another industry, right? It's literally the circulatory system of the modern world. Today, we're unpacking the mechanics behind that massive system, what we call strategic orchestration in global transportation and logistics. We're going to look at how this hyper-connected, incredibly high-stakes environment actually operates and scales behind the scenes, because honestly, it is nothing short of fascinating. Let's kick things off with part one, the global logistics puzzle, and how on earth we actually go about managing that kind of scale.
To truly understand the puzzle, we first have to wrap our heads around the staggering, mind-boggling scale of global networks today. We're talking millions of shipping containers, cargo flights, and massive fleets operating within this insanely complex, overlapping web of diverse supply chains. Which, naturally leads us to a pretty huge question. How do global supply chains avoid total chaos? Seriously, just imagine the sheer volume of moving parts out there. What keeps this high-speed, hyper-complex network from just collapsing into absolute noise? In our industry, we know all too well about the bullwhip effect. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a giant global domino effect, where just one delayed cargo ship or a single cascading port delay can trigger these massive, hugely expensive disruptions all across the globe.
Well, the answer to avoiding that chaos really comes down to a constant battle between two completely different operational realities. On the one hand, you've got fragmented operations, and this happens totally organically over time, maybe through rapid corporate acquisitions, compounding legacy tech debt, or honestly, just departments retreating into their own little silos. And boom, you end up with isolated fleets and disconnected vendors, which is a massive operational and financial risk. On the other hand, you have the absolute ideal state, strategic alignment. This is where operations are tightly orchestrated, super efficient, and incredibly reliable. Taming that chaos, upgrading those clunky legacy systems and aligning all those disconnected vendors, that is the central puzzle that global organizations absolutely have to solve if they want to survive and protect their margins. Which brings us to Section 2, Enter Program Management, our master conductor.
Program management, at least in this industry context, is the structured oversight you need to coordinate modernization, digital tracking, and sustainability initiatives. So the crucial point is that this structured oversight acts as the central brain of the entire operation. Picture this. A corporate sustainability team is aggressively pushing new carbon reduction goals, right? But they're doing it completely independently of the fleet maintenance team, who are really just trying to keep older gas-guzzling trucks out on the road. Without a central brain, those initiatives are gonna clash. Big time. Program management ensures that efficiency, reliability, and customer satisfaction are perfectly strategically aligned, basically forcing potentially chaotic players to sit down and perform a beautifully unified symphony. Moving into Section 3, the 5 pillars of orchestration, and how they actually work in practice. And this brilliantly illustrates how orchestration touches 5 distinct, but honestly, highly interdependent pillars: supply chain, fleet, digital tracking, sustainability, and customer experience. When we really break orchestration down, it's not just about managing these as separate line items on some giant spreadsheet. It's about seeing how an upgrade in one directly, almost instantly, enables another. Like, for instance, enhancing your end-to-end vendor coordination directly impacts delivery optimization, just like rolling out vehicle upgrades feeds right into your carbon reduction strategies. Now we're going to break down exactly how these distinct mechanisms actually get upgraded and integrated to build that overarching alignment. Let's group our first couple of pillars together right here: fleet modernization and sustainability upgrades. This is all about physically upgrading your assets, like vehicles and shipping equipment, while also coordinating those vital maintenance systems so everything stays safe. But you know what's really fascinating? It's how these upgrades stack to create compounded value. Good program management doesn't just cut a check for newer trucks. It actively oversees green logistics and fuel efficiency programs. Think about advanced route optimization algorithms for a second. By implementing systems that dynamically reduce empty miles, an organization can slash fuel costs and hit their carbon reduction targets all at once. It's this incredibly smart 2-for-1 approach, where upgrading your physical assets secures operational safety and drives global sustainability at the exact same time. But of course, none of those shiny physical assets or optimized routes really matter if you don't actually know where your shipments are in real time, right? And that brings us right to digital tracking platforms. Leveraging IoT, GPS, and AI-driven analytics programs is the key to enhancing visibility and ultimately reducing those crazy costly delays.
Think of this digital tracking like an invisible net of intelligence draped over the entire globe. It acts as the digital sheet music that keeps everyone perfectly on beat. Say a sudden, totally unexpected weather event slams into a major European transport hub. These AI-driven analytics don't just send you a little alert about a delay, they instantly trigger cascading logistics adjustments at ports all the way over in Asia to compensate, keeping the entire global network flowing seamlessly. It's pretty amazing. Let's move to and see how this builds into a continuous life cycle, tracing the narrative journey of a product from its absolute origin all the way into the hands of the end user. It all starts with deep supply chain integration, really focusing on that end-to-end logistics and global distribution piece. And that integration is the key that unlocks the next phase, true responsiveness. Because when your vendors are coordinated in real time, you can pivot instantly the second disruptions occur. And finally, all that responsiveness culminates in service transformation. This is the ultimate goal, guys, optimizing the end customer's experience by providing absolute transparency and real-time updates. It's really about taking all that highly complex behind-the-scenes data and using it to fundamentally strengthen trust in the brand. Let's wrap things up with Section 4, delivering measurable value and impact. Ultimately, at the end of the day, all of these initiatives must be strategically aligned, not fragmented, if you want to create measurable improvements. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it brings us full circle, right back to our original puzzle. By completely eliminating that fragmentation across the supply chain, the fleet, and customer surface, organizations aren't just, achieving a cleaner internal org chart. Actually, they're driving serious ROI. They're generating hard data improvements in absolute key performance indicators, like those crucial on-time and full delivery rates. And they're building profound supply chain resilience against global shocks. This deep alignment is literally the vital mechanism that defends market share and lets companies truly thrive in fiercely competitive environments. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to close out today's explainer. In a hyper-competitive global market, are your operations making noise? Or are they making music? When you really understand the sheer massive scale of global transportation and the incredibly high stakes of modern logistics, it becomes perfectly clear that survival requires meticulous orchestration. The companies who fail to orchestrate this music, well, they simply aren't going to survive the next decade of global trade. I really hope this look into program management invites you to view the logistics networks all around us in a whole new light, as a highly synchronized, massive global symphony. Thanks so much for joining me today.